Hey everyone.
Hi,
Hey, I'm Rick Duran,
I'm Mythscomealive.
this is the Random People podcast.
Come back here, motherfucker!
This is a gaming.
Sorry, I'm playing Skyrim and there's a dragon and I'm screaming obscenities at it like it's going to help.
We can tell that one. Uh,
Yeah, because you can tell from me calling something a motherfucker that it is a dragon in Skyrim. Because no one else ever calls anything motherfuckers.
well that,
Or calling dragons motherfuckers
and
is a
I'm
normal
picking up the
response
music.
to fight.
I can hear very faintly in the background. Dovahkiin, Dovahkiin, no spotting. Like,
It's not the one with chanting, it's just the orchestral version.
uh,
Yes, I got a kill cinematic. I love kill cinematics on dragons.
ditto. Okay,
Well, this has been a productive podcast so far.
yeah, this podcast is working. Okay, for those of you who don't know behind the scenes, this is take 3.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining because every time we thought we had this down, one of us, and by one of us I mean him, would screw something up, and by something I mean not recording my audio somehow. So it was either we re-record it again, or you get an audio of him talking to me and having no idea what I'm saying in
Yeah,
response.
which would just be me.
Could be entertaining, I guess, but only in like a schizophrenic kind of
Yeah,
way.
that'd just be me like laughing and talking and then like not getting a response. Because there's a part where I just go dead silent waiting while you talk. So it would just be like 3 minutes me like dead silent, then me going, yeah, and it'd be weird. Alright, so the point of this podcast is that one of us is going to be playing a game every time. Hopefully not at the same time.
Yeah, that's the point of the podcast, and not just because we have no lives.
Well, yes. Also, if we do get enough comments saying you want my audio, then I will put up the audio of the second take, because the first take didn't work at all.
Which was entertaining to find out about, because both of them was, 30 to 45 minutes of dialogue that was just vanished into the ethers because someone doesn't know how buttons work.
I didn't know there were hotkeys.
Yeah, sure, that's what it
But
is.
I knew there were hotkeys, but I thought I had canceled the one for record. I thought I took that out because I wanted to do stuff.
Well, do you know better now?
Yes, I do.
I keep making facial expressions like you can see me.
Maybe you should stop that.
There's lots of things I should stop doing, like obsessively jumping off of waterfalls in Skyrim and completely derailing my own carefully planned routes to things. But I do it anyway.
I wonder what's in my Xbox.
Presumably Xbox related things.
I just realized I don't have the prongs plugged in and I just turned it on.
The what?
The prongs, you know, the video and audio cables.
Oh,
Yeah, I have an.
you call them prongs?
Yeah, prongs. Because they're prongs.
Why?
Prong.
I could think of a better name.
What would you call them?
Cables.
Now, see, I only call them prongs when I have no clue what the word I'm looking for is. Sometimes I just forget.
So the best word you could come up with was prongs? If you're going to say a random word in the hopes I'll understand what you're talking about, at least make it an interesting word. Like Saturnalian or something.
I'm sorry.
That's not actually a noun.
What word? I have no clue what that means.
Saturnalian. It's not actually a noun. It's an adjective that means celebratory.
Ah.
I paid attention in English class.
Well, I never heard that word in English class. Plus, I was always reading books.
Because you didn't take AP with Miss Johnson. Now, whose fault is that?
Mine for not applying for the gifted program back when I was smarter.
It's not really a gifted program. You don't apply. You just pick individual classes. Like you could have taken AP English and not. Sup, random dog. I'm literally in the middle of the mountains, surrounded by giants, and there's a fucking dog here. You are a brave little dog. Oh look, wolves. Are you friends with the wolves, Mr. Dog? What is life? Anyway,
What is best in life?
Skyrim.
I'll give you that one.
It's not like my favorite game, but it's like my favorite game. My favorite game is objectively Dragon Age, but that's mostly because of the story. If you could like take Dragon Age's story and put it in a game of Skyrim's caliber, I would never do anything ever again except for that.
Alright, so for those who don't know, this is a gaming podcast. Very awkward to say about 5 minutes and 40 seconds in, but this is a gaming podcast.
It's sort of like a Let's Play, except we're very open to talking about other less gaming related things.
Like,
I don't know, feminism or something. I don't know. What do we talk about?
I don't know. Just
Let's not talk about feminism, actually.
yeah.
I mean, I'm all for feminism. Yay, feminism. But that's not a thing that should be in a gaming podcast.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those things where I support it, but I don't support like the extremism of it, or it's like burn your bras.
But I mean, that's true of any ideal. Almost every ideal in the world that can be morally supported also has its extreme versions.
Right.
Feminism is just the popular topic right now, which is weird, because it really shouldn't have to be, but it is.
Right. You entertain the people for like a minute while I plug in my prongs.
Oh, he's plugging in his prongs. Maybe he was talking about something else the whole time, and he was just using a euphemism for it. What do you guys think? Oh, I said that like you were actually going to respond.
I can still hear you.
Oh, well, that's awkward. And I just died from jumping off a glacier. That's entertaining. Am I going to start back from where I was when I loaded? Because I'm going to be so mad.
Oh my god. I haven't played my Xbox in so long that there's no game in it.
I mean, okay.
Do you realize?
What games do you have for the Xbox?
What games do I have for the Xbox? Oh, I've accumulated quite the collection over the years that is so mismatched you will get no feel for my personality.
I mean, I don't really need to get a feel for your personality, darling. I've known you since 3rd grade.
True.
Where the heck? Why did it autosave here? I don't know. I'll take it.
I was just seeing what game was in my Xbox right now because I was going to play it, but if there's no game, I'm not going to take time out of the podcast to put one in there.
I don't really play many games on my Xbox anymore because most of my better games I got for the PS3.
So what are you playing Skyrim on?
The PS3.
It's on PS3 too?
Skyrim is on everything. Pretty sure they'd make it for the Game Boy if the damn thing could support the graphics.
I just imagine a copy of Skyrim tied to a dog with the caption, Skyrim is on everything.
I mean, that would be an adorable version of Skyrim.
A Skyrim you could play on your dog.
I do have a dog.
It's Dova Canine.
No!
Dragon dog.
Puns are not an acceptable form of comedy.
Oh yes they are. If you're constantly thinking of puns, then you're constantly working your brain.
Nope. Creating puns does not require your brain. It requires selling a tiny piece of your soul to Satan.
Well, Jasmine, I have no soul, so...
Therefore, you should make no puns. I have a deep burning hatred for puns.
Why?
Because they're awful. They're not humorous.
You know, I could make this go 5 seconds of silence real quick. Like, make you be quiet for 5 seconds. And make me be quiet for 5 seconds waiting for a response.
I mean, that's how conversations work.
So, dicks, how do you think of them?
Considering I'm a virgin, I wouldn't know.
I was trying to get at least 5 seconds of silence off that.
Nope, sorry. I am not that easy to freak out.
Well, of course you're not that easy. You're a virgin.
No! We had talked about this!
Wait, was that a pun? I thought
Technically.
that was wordplay.
I will punch you straight in the throat.
How? You're way over, and what?
I'm a woman. I have ways.
Maybe, but I'm a man and I can hide from those ways.
What?
Exactly.
Oh, hello. Well, that was interesting. I just launched myself directly into a bear. I didn't even see that bear. Where did it even come from?
I once watched a bear maul a dragon to death. It was kind of entertaining.
I was swimming down a river, and I was like towards the right shore, and on the left shore was a bear. And the current was really fast, so it was trying not to get into the middle where the current was, but it tried to charge me and it got caught in the current and got swept over a waterfall as it tried to attack me. It was adorable. It was like, oh, look at you, you're not immune to gravity like all the other animals
It's like
are.
the bear version of Moon Moon.
Yeah, that's kind of it. That is kind of is what it is.
So I hope you realize how little I'm doing right now. I am literally sitting here watching your audio, watching the little wavelengths move, not touching anything.
I mean, I'm not gonna say what I was thinking. Oh, look, it's Winterhold!
Winter... Oh, no, that isn't the incredibly racist place.
No, that's Windhelm. Windhelm is the racist place.
I thought, for some reason in my head, I couldn't get Winterfell out of my head. That's why...
No, this place isn't on fire.
Right. Wait, on fire. Did you just spoil something from Game of Thrones for me?
What?
Because I haven't read the second book. I'm like... There's certain...
You haven't read the second book? Dude, the series, like the TV show is on book 3.
Really?
Yeah! Where have you been? And it's not like the series is an inaccurate reflection of the books because George R.R. Martin works on the series.
Do you know he actually told the writers how he wants it to end if he dies before he can finish the last book?
I mean, yeah, he's an old dude, and the next book isn't even the last one, and it's not coming out until 2016.
And in it, everything dies. Just the entire world. In the last book, Joffrey is alone on a throne.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I got distracted by a freaky, pointy lady
In the
talking
last
to me.
book, everyone's dead, and Joffrey's just on a throne by himself, alone forever.
I mean, can I? No.
If he dies, then like, okay, type the spoiler you're gonna say in chat because I don't want to spoil it on the podcast. But if he dies, I will read the next, like, up to the most recent book.
You should read all of them. I read all of them. Like, I started them on Christmas of last year and had them finished within 2 months. They're really long, but I like them.
What?
There's 5 books now. The third one is the longest. Though 4 and 5 are technically the same book, but each book only references half the characters. And then, there's 2 more books yet to come out called The Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring, which won't be out for 10 years, probably.
Alright. I point out, after Osama bin Laden was killed, King Joffrey is now the most hated person in America.
I can live with that. That's okay.
Yeah, as long as it's a fictional character.
He is collectively referred to in the fandom as that little shit.
Indeed. I just reached for water and I realized my water bottle's empty.
There's nothing sadder than going for a drink and realizing you have no drink.
Yeah, well, I guess I die.
I mean, that'll make the rest of the podcast kind of boring, though I'm pretty sure I can talk non-stop for at least another 20 minutes before I run out of topics.
That is very true.
I am one of those people that does not have the mental capacity to not be talking.
Alright.
I'm like Dogu from Shrek. Except I use bigger words.
The amount of closeness I am monitoring your... I'm like an inch away from the screen watching the little wigglies go on your audio thing.
As long as you don't masturbate while you're doing it, I don't care what you do.
Why would I?
Actually, I wouldn't particularly care if you were masturbating. I just don't want you to tell me about it.
I don't know how to respond to that besides saying I wouldn't masturbate to audio. It's too much of a bitch to me. My audio problems.
I'm not sure how to continue this conversation.
How about we start a new topic?
I just reached for the bag of chips I have next to me, and I was about to offer you some, and then I realized that we're not in the same room.
I'm pretty sure you live really far away from me, Jasmine, unless you want to drive like 20 minutes. And just knock on the door and go, hey James, want a chip? And for me to go, no, I'm not hungry, I just had dinner. And then you have to drive back.
I mean...
This should be an insanely quiet podcast.
Psychic chip?
Huh?
I could offer you a psychic chip.
Why, thank you. Salty.
I love chips.
I love crackers.
I've been craving salt a lot lately. Like, more than normal. Like, normally, like, I just eat salt, like, by itself. But lately, I've been, like, actively wanting to eat salt by itself.
Are you a cat?
No! No, I'm just weird.
Are you sure?
I'm fairly certain, like, genetically, I'm pretty sure I'm not a cat.
Well,
My mom's like that, too, actually. She, it's like our bodies don't know what to do with salt, so we eat, like, obscene amounts of it. Literally, like, if I'm eating, like, you know those little, like, ready-to-go bowls of Easy Mac? The ones that you just put water in, put it in the microwave?
yes.
I put salt on those. You know, it's normal to put salt in your mac and cheese, but how I know that I've put enough salt on is if the smell of the salt overpowers the smell of the mac and cheese.
You know, Jasmine, when you die, they're not going to have to worry about preserving your body.
I go to the doctor and they tell me, I don't think you're eating enough salt. Your sodium levels are really low. Can you eat more salt? And then I laugh and I laugh and I laugh.
Well, at least we know you'll live for a long time. Maybe.
I'm gonna live forever.
I'm gonna die in my 60s.
I'm going to live forever. I'm going to work for the rest of my life to discover immortality. Even if that immortality comes at the cost of never being able to die, ever, I will live with that. That'll be okay.
It's not really a cost, that's more like the point of immortality.
No, like, you know, the people who, like in Tuck Everlasting, or people who get stuck in mine shafts. I'd be okay with that, so long as I'm still alive.
At one point, you get decapitated and fall down a sewage pipe. I just made that still less appealing, didn't I?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. What?
At one point, you get your head cut off and you get stuck down to a sewage pipe.
Well, if I get my head cut off, presumably it'll grow back. If you know, I'm immortal.
Well, you better hope it grows back. Yeah.
I mean, it would be kind of hard to live if you didn't have a head.
You know who's the definition of writing yourself into a corner? Darren Shan. Because
I like Darren Shan's writing.
Okay, the two series I have read from him, which is Cirque du Freak. By the way, read that, everyone. And Demonata. Read that if you're above 15, because that's kind of a gory series. They both end very similarly.
I have never gotten to the end of Demonata. Like, never.
I'd suggest reading it, but I could, like, I'm not going to spoil it because people need to read it. But it kind of has the same ending.
Seriously?
Yeah, like, it's like, then it never happened kind of thing.
I mean, that makes sense, though, given the nature of the Kagash. I expected it to be some sort of rewriting of history.
It's exactly that. Like, I feel like he doesn't know how to end a book any other way besides, and then it never happened.
Or, that's just the type of ending that he feels works best for stories full of tragedy and death and pain and terror and awfulness.
True.
I mean... What? No, oh, what? Sorry, I just found out that the amazing British person that I'm following on the internet is single now.
Okay, that could have ended so many different ways.
I follow him on Tumblr. His username is Do I Look Like People. You should follow him. Anyone listening to this, you should follow him. He's fantastic. He's the best person ever. And he's fantastic, and I just found out he's single, so I must investigate this.
Alright, so this is the Random Pouring podcast where we promote anything and everything.
It's true. It's how I roll. It's how I do. No, he's cool, though. Like, he's really sweet. Like, this one time, a suicidal person sent him an anonymous message that basically said, thank you for being so sweet and entertaining because your blog made me feel better. And he talked to them for hours trying to make them feel better. And when they wouldn't tell him where they lived, he sent them every single suicide hotline he could find on the internet.
Wow.
And he likes Doctor Who, which is also nice.
Fun fact, I don't know if they've rectified this, but on Bing, if you search up how to kill yourself, it just pops up with all the ways to kill yourself and like suicide hotline.
And if you search it on Google, it pops up with some suicide hotlines and stuff. Yeah, I saw that on Tumblr.
Yeah, I saw it on metapicture.com. Go there, people. That's where they get everything from the internet. Am I under fire? What the fuck?
What?
Am I under fire? What the hell is that?
Oh, God, sorry. You could hear my typing, couldn't you? My apologies.
It's like you were shooting a machine gun there for a second.
I only type with 4 fingers. I have to move really fast.
No, you don't. You could just blissfully hit the keys.
Except then I would be typing more slowly and I would kill myself. Bad joke. I would punch myself in the jaw.
That was extremely bad, timing, Jasmine, on that joke.
I know.
For anyone out there who has, emotional issues, it gets better. I'm not gonna lie, life does get better after a while. Nothing stays shitty forever. And if you can leave that...
Yeah, it's literally, statistically impossible for your life to be full of pain and misery forever and ever. It just doesn't happen.
If you're in a shitty situation that you can leave it.
Yeah. If you are in a bad situation, the only way it can last forever is if you kill yourself before it gets better.
Exactly. Wow.
If you have kids and you feel depressed, live for them. If you don't have kids and you feel depressed, live for that!
If you have kids and you feel depressed, but in the way that makes you want to drown your kids, please don't drown your kids.
Okay, yeah, drowning your kids, generally a poor way to spend your weekend. Fun, maybe, but poor.
I feel like every Christmas, or whatever, you hear about the parents killing their children. I thought there's always that one story. And it's...
Yeah. We have reached the depressing part of this conversation.
Yeah, what did we start on?
I don't know. I think we were talking about the amazing British boy on
Yeah,
Tumblr.
and then you brought up suicide, and then we brought up it gets better, and then we brought up don't drown your children.
I mean, let's not drown our children. That can be the lesson for today's podcast. Oh god, this thing's gonna wear off before I hit the ground. Fuck. Oh my god, I lived. I just jumped off the College of Winterhold.
Good job.
I love jumping off of things. I think I have a problem.
I'm still trying to find the ruins of Winterhold, the stuff that's supposed to be fallen into the sea. There's nothing of it.
Well, it's probably already washed away.
Well, if it's been washed away, if it's been that long and houses got washed away out to sea, which, by the way, I checked everywhere, or they've been, covered up by sand, shouldn't they have started rebuilding at some point?
They're too poor. They have no money. Only the slums are left.
Why can't I help build Winterhold?
Because there's no plausible way for the game engine to include things like construction.
Bethesda, get on that.
Look, it's a humongous, gigantic world full of interesting people all living their lives as well as the game engine can make it. That's impressive in and of itself.
Well, so here's the thing, though. Young programmers and programs themselves are getting better and better every, year. Every...
I know, isn't it great?
Have you heard the 19-year-old who single-handedly created a new map for Skyrim? That's 25% the size of the original Skyrim map. It's like Bellspar or something like that.
I did not.
It's a mod, and it's like he created this to try to get employed at Bethesda.
Cool.
I might be going to computer engineering, but that little fucker has beaten me.
I'm an English major, so I know nothing of programming.
So what are you going to do after college?
I intend to go into the publishing industry. Specifically copy editing for a publishing industry, because being a human spell check is appealing to no one but me.
That sounds about right. You grammar Nazi.
Thanks. But no, I'm an English major with a creative writing and philosophy minors. The philosophy minor isn't actually going to help me in my career, but since that's all I would take with my free electives, I figured I might as well minor in it.
I'm going to computer engineering, which is more hardware than software, if I remember reading what it was correctly. But I still have to learn how to program. Like, not remedial, but like, to a certain point. I don't need to learn, like, Java, which I already know some of. If you want a mental...
I can't do math, so...
That's no reason to be programming. Programming is old logic.
But there is math involved.
Well, no, think of it as like a super advanced logic.
But there is math involved. You don't understand. I never have to take another math class for the rest of my life. Do you know how much joy I get out of that?
More joy than... I don't know.
An orgasmic amount of joy.
Okay, I was not going to go there, but if you go there, okay.
I have gone there.
This is the Mythscomealive Goes There podcast.
What?
This is the Mythscomealive Goes There podcast.
That's what I do. I'm a trickster archetype. I go there.
I'm chaotic evil. I kill that, which is there.
I mean, I'm neutral good, but a trickster neutral good.
I'm trying to stay chaotic neutral so I can do whatever I want, but sometimes just go chaotic evil and kill shit.
I sincerely doubt you as a person are legitimately chaotic evil.
I'm more chaotic neutral nowadays, but I was chaotic evil at one point.
Okay, sure you were. I just find it difficult to believe, for lack of a better phrase, that I could ever stand to be friends with someone who is chaotic evil, so that's really why I'm doubting it.
Ah. That makes more sense.
Yeah. I'm neutral good, sometimes true neutral, occasionally chaotic neutral, though not often. That's usually when I'm playing violent video games and I slaughter everything that moves.
You know what bugs the hell out of me right now? Is some...
Life?
Yeah, well, technically right now, or when it comes to technical stuff right now, I can see when you peak on your little thing, because I can see the Audacity actively creating the wavelengths for your audio, but I can't see mine until the very end. It doesn't, like, live update my audio, so I can't see if I'm peaking or not.
You're using these words, and I don't know what they mean.
Oh yeah, you're not editing anything ever. That's technological.
The closest I've ever come to editing was one time I arranged a song.
I guess that counts as something?
I mean, like, I heard a poem that I really liked, so I invented a tune for it and found a dubstep beat along with a very interesting guitar part and some backup percussion and put them all together, but I never found a way to record them.
That's more songwriting than editing. Well, it is kind of editing, but...
But it's not songwriting, because it wasn't my poem and it wasn't my music.
Well, then that's music creation, I guess. I don't know. Shut up. Let's drop this before I make an ass of myself.
Before?
Alright, before I make more of an ass of myself. Myths come alive, people. Myths come alive.
I'm a sarcastic bitch.
Yes, she is.
See, I've trained you that it's not a trap. Good for you.
We've done this 3 times.
It's true, and every time this has come up somehow.
Oh my god. I just realized I forgot to put start recording on my end.
Are you fucking serious?
No, I'm recording.
Oh, thank God. Because I was about to reach through my computer and literally bitch slap you.
This is the Mythscomealive. God damn it! This is the Random People podcast.
See, I'm clearly the more important person here.
But I do the editing, and it goes up on my channel.
But I'm a woman.
That doesn't do anything for you.
No, I'm just kidding. That's just my normal response to things. Although, if we're going by bra size, I do have you beaten.
But if we go by cup size...
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure...
Boom! Speechless! Haha.
Huh?
Never.
I could have sworn for a second there you were admitting you had a dick. Because I meant, like, an athletic cup.
I mean, I did tell a dragon to suck my dick earlier.
Don't worry, I told I think it was something on my game. Oh yeah, the Eater of Worlds to lick my clit earlier, so.
That's oddly specific.
Well, so it suck my dick. It's not like, why is that gender, why can you say suck my dick, but if I say I'm not going.
I didn't say it was weird or offensive. I just said it was oddly specific.
Well, it's faster to say than pussy.
Yeah, this is a conversation we're not having.
What? How some words are faster to say than others?
I don't know. I am extremely uncomfortable with spoken sexuality. Like, I am not a prude. I'm cool with sex and everything to do with sex and weird kinky stuff and all that. I just don't like talking about it.
Really?
Seriously, isn't that weird? Like, I firmly believe that it is morally wrong to not have sex before you're married. I just don't like talking about it.
Wait, to not have sex before you're married?
Yeah, I believe that if you get married and you have not had sex yet, you are an idiot.
Okay, cool. Thank you for supporting me. Because I'm...
Like, the way I see it, your body has natural instincts that sometimes you just don't have a way to access unless you're having sex. And if you have sex with someone and it feels wrong, like it doesn't feel right to be that close to them, and you're already married, it's a little late.
And it's a little bit awkward to find out you're gay that second.
I mean, if you have to have sex with a woman to realize you're gay, that's probably the least of your concern.
Super abstinent, so you don't look at like any naked pictures of women, and then when you get married, it's like she takes off her clothes and you're like, oh god, I do not want.
But abstinence isn't the act of not having sexual feelings. Abstinence is specifically avoiding acting upon them despite of having feelings. Well,
technically you can abstain from anything.
Uh-huh.
And thus abstinence can apply to anything, and thus you can abstain from looking at any sexual thing before you are married. Period, or having
But
sex.
you probably will have sexual feelings at some point, regardless of looking at them, simply because of the way our society works. Everything is sexualized nowadays. You can watch a fucking Hardee's commercial and get a boner.
Sure. See, this is why I watch anime, because it was already sexualized way before America decided to sexualize everything.
It's not necessarily sexualization, that's idealization in all aspects.
Have you seen Fairy Tail? Every woman in that show, like almost every woman in that show, has like perfectly spherical titties.
That's not anatomically accurate.
I know. They're different sizes.
But that's not necessarily sexualization, rather than idealization of sexual aspects. True. Anime exists to be the perfect wish fulfillment. Except for Death Note, which doesn't seem to make anybody happy, but is still the best anime ever.
It made me happy. I love Death Note.
Really?
Huh?
Really? Like, happy?
Yeah.
Like, because everybody awesome dies.
Yeah, I like that. Like,
except for Monster doesn't die, but he's cool.
Like, I love when, like, a main character dies, because it means that the writer has balls. Like, if you can't kill off your characters because a fandom says no, then you ain't got balls as a writer. You ain't got those writer balls.
But I mean, the difference with that and Death Note is that half the fandom did say kill the bastard for every single character. Like, half the fandom was pro-Light, half the fandom was pro-L, and everyone wanted everybody else to die.
True. Oh, by the...
It's not necessarily balls, that's just obeying a specific half. Or obeying the narrative call, which did decree that both L and Light had to die for proper storytelling.
I wish I had a pencil and paper so that way I could write down everything that we're going to talk about. Or...
Yeah, we don't plan this shit ahead of time.
Yeah, we need some structure, people.
Why?
Because it's weird not to have structure, because then we'd like to just go off on random tangents.
But that's entertaining. If we tried to follow a schedule, not only would the conversation probably end up feeling, stilted, it would end up becoming very limited, because sometimes you have conversations about things in tangent that you would never think to have, but they turn out to be your best conversation.
True. I'm going to label this episode Tangents with a Z.
Please, God, no.
Alright,
Not if you want me to acknowledge that I'm in it.
I'm gonna label it...
Come back to the fox that want to kill you with fire.
I'm gonna label it no structure.
You're gonna label it
no
what?
Structure.
Better. Are you gonna spell it properly?
Maybe. Now see, because you've said that, I might just, misspell it just to fuck with you. Don't tempt me.
See... The problem with that is that I will then punch you square in the throat.
The problem with that is that you don't know where I live.
I can find out.
I don't think you can.
You don't think.
Was that an insult on me, exactly like you don't think?
No.
Okay.
I was just implying that you don't think I can find out where you live, but in fact I can. Because I am wily and I have people who have access to very strange internet skills.
That is very true.
I mean, I had a guy find my blog that did not have my name, had a different username from every other website I've ever used, and was not associated with one of my main email addresses, and he still found it.
What the fuck was the blog about that it needed to be that secret?
Oh, it was just a blog where I went and talked about all my friends and how much they annoy me sometimes. So I was keeping it secret from my friends that I talked about.
I'm guessing I'm in there twice.
No, actually, I didn't mention you. I still haven't, actually.
Oh, that's fun to know.
Mostly the blog is now me saying things about things. It's not really a topic blog. It's kind of like a diary, almost, just writing about whatever happens, and it's full of a number of humorous, pithy sayings.
So, this might sound weird, and I might sound like a sociopath or a psychopath, but I got bored about 10 minutes in because I'm not doing anything to make sure I don't fuck up the audio. So I've been playing with my knives.
I mean, when I'm sitting in my room talking to someone on the phone, I usually start practicing with my axe. Oh, I have an axe, by the way.
Yeah, she has a battle axe.
I do. It's wonderful. I almost got to use it recently because my parents went on vacation a couple weeks ago. I'm staying there over the summer until college starts back up. And my stepbrother lives here because he's lazy and can't afford an apartment. And so, it's 3 in the morning, I'm trying to go to sleep, and I hear my front door open, and I hear someone talking that is distinctly not my stepbrother. So I'm like, fuck, of course someone tries to rob the house when I'm here by myself. So I get up, I grab my axe. I'm wearing a bright yellow nightgown, right? I am the least intimidating person in the world. But I have a fucking battle axe. So I open the door, and I step out, all fierce and stuff, and it's one of my brother's idiot friends, right? So I was like, oh, hi, I guess we're not gonna have a problem today. And it was cool. He was actually pretty chill about the fact that I threatened him with an axe.
See, that's why I always go to bed almost naked. Because how intimidating is it when a guy has hold it right there and you turn around and he's just wielding a double-bladed knife and his junk's just hanging. I always wear my socks though, just in case.
But I would be less intimidated by a naked guy than a guy wearing pajamas.
Would you?
Yes, I would be more creeped out. But if I was there to do you harm or rob your house, I would not stop doing that because you had your junk hanging out.
See, the thing is that if I knew you weren't gonna be intimidated, I'd just sneak up behind you and stab you. Unless,
But how could you know that?
I guess I'd figure out. I guess I see. Okay, you're not someone I know. Must stab. Stabby, stab, stab, stab.
But if I was there to do you harm, how do you know you'd even have time to sneak up behind me? Or how do you know that I wouldn't naturally be wary enough to avoid your knife or to hear you coming?
Because I was wearing socks.
Uh-huh. The sound of cloth on stone is, in fact, a sound.
Well, on carpet.
Or not stone, floor. Sorry, I've been reading a lot of Game of Thrones.
But do you have the But can you roll the perception check correctly?
I don't know. My Pathfinder character has a really high perception skill.
Alright, well I have to make you roll a d20 to see if you can perceive me.
I don't have one, I'm sorry. I don't actually play Pathfinder, but I have a Pathfinder character.
I was talking D&D.
It's essentially the same thing.
Alright, well before we get too nerdy up in here, let's end the podcast.
I mean, we are nerds, though.
True, we are the nerdiest nerds that have never nerded a nerd.
That's not true. My friend Alex is the nerdiest nerd.
True, by the way, you remember that this is going out live on the internet, and make sure you don't say anything too personal. Or make sure you don't say anything you don't want to be heard.
Honey, I've known this Alex for over a year now, and I still know nothing about him. Saying his first name on the internet ain't gonna tell anyone anything.
True. There's about 50 million Alexes in the world.
Yeah, it's like the conversation we had when I accidentally said your name in the last one. It's not like it's an uncommon name.
True.
If your name was Dovahkiin, that would be a little bit
There
easier.
is someone named Dovahkiin, and Bethesda promised them free games for life because they named their kid Dovahkiin.
Specifically, if your child was born on November 11th, 2011, and you named them Dovahkiin. And someone did it. There is a family whose daughter is named Dovahkiin. And that's actually a fucking fantastic name.
Yeah.
Throwing that out
I
there.
want to meet that child. I want to see her grow. I want, like, status checks on her, man. Like, she seems like she'd be fucking awesome.
If nothing else, she has good genetics.
Hey, Dovahkiin. At least mine means kin of the dragon. What does your mean? I'm just Alex. Alright, so...
I mean, though technically every name has some kind of inherent meaning if you go back far enough.
True. Alright, well...
Except mine. Mine is a fucking flower.
Alright, I'm Rick Duran, and this has been...
Do we have a name? Did we actually come up?
No.
I don't know. This has been weird things coming out of our faces.
The Random People Podcast, and you're supposed to... And this has been, and I was, like, pointing in your general direction, you're supposed to say Mythscomealive.
Oh, was I? I'm sorry. I'm a little distracted. I'm Skyriming.
Oh god, that sounds so sexual. And we'll see...
Hey, just because you're not getting any doesn't mean everything's sexual.
Not true. Alright, see you guys later.